The ThinkPad X1 Carbon and X13 are both similar laptops, but with several differences when it comes to the design and the target audience which these laptops are designed for. While neither of these laptops are brand new, and one of them is older than the other, there are still differences between them that apply to the newer models as well. One difference is the price. Looking at the newer models on the Lenovo store, you can see that the X1 is quite a bit more expensive than the X13, even though both of these models have the same processor and the same amount of RAM. For starters, the X1 Carbon has a slightly bigger 14-inch screen, compared to the X13's 13-inch screen. Although they both have the same resolution, with these models being 1080p with a 16:9 aspect ratio, and newer models having slightly taller 16:10 aspect ratio screens. Putting these two models side by side, I can see that the X13 is slightly thicker, and it's also less wide than the X1 Carbon, since it does have a smaller screen after all. In terms of weight, the X13 is also a little heavier than the X1 Carbon, but only by a couple of grams. Taking them both apart, neither of them have upgradable RAM, so if you buy one, you need to pick one with the amount of RAM you desire first. Also, when it comes to CPU options, the X1 Carbon only has Intel CPUs, while the X13 can come with Intel, AMD, or Snapdragon processors. Both of these models have a similar layout and cooling setup. The hinges themselves seem pretty sturdy, but it's hard to say if the hinge screw points will hold up long term. Both of these models have easily replaceable batteries and could come with optional 4G WAN installed. The X13 does have one feature that the X1 Carbon never came with, and that is an optional smart card reader. What a smart card reader does is it provides workers in a business another way to log in into their computer, with an employee-issued smart card which can provide extra security when logging into a computer which may contain proprietary information. This tells me that the X13 is more catered to businesses. However, the X1 Carbon is also marketed towards a business environment, but is more considered the ultra premium model. Every panel on the X1 Carbon has a soft touch material which provides a more premium feel compared to the hard plastics of the X13. And the extra thinness means the X1 Carbon is considered an ultrabook, while the X13 is just a laptop. If you think this sounds pretentious, that's because it is. The X1 Carbon is more of a status symbol to show off your hierarchy in the corporate ladder. The X1 Carbon is marketed towards the high-level executives of a company. They're the ones who are driving the synergy. They're the ones who impress the shareholders and raise the stock values. And they make PowerPoint presentations about company growth next fiscal quarter, while the people who get the X13 in the company are the ones who actually get work done. While the X13 does not feel as high build quality as the X1 Carbon, it's sturdy enough to not break in half after 2 years, so it's a good option for businesses to buy hundreds of them and then replace them after 4 years without having any significant issues. I would even say that the X13 isn't any more likely to break than the X1 Carbon, and it might even be more sturdy than the X1 Carbon. Before the age of Ultrabooks, the small business ThinkPads were the X series, starting with the X20 in the year 2000, and later the other X2 series, starting with the X200, going up to the X280 in 2018. The X1 Carbon series was originally released in 2012, along with the other offering, the X230, like the one you see here. This started a separate branch of small business Ultrabooks in the ThinkPad lineup. The X13 series was what eventually replaced the X2 series as the small medium-priced business laptop. The reason why companies buy business laptops rather than regular consumer models is because many consumer models from pretty much every brand need to cut corners in order to design and build a laptop to be cheap enough to be competitive in the home market. However, businesses are more concerned with the time lost if a computer were to break, for example, if there's a hinge malfunction. If a company buys hundreds of laptops and many of them break after just a few years, then the company won't be buying from that laptop brand anymore. So many major laptop brands have a more sturdy line of business laptops. While these two laptops are quite sturdy for a small laptop, in my opinion they aren't as durable compared to the T and P series ThinkPads. But for something that's lightweight, both of these models are great options for light work on the go. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a nice eclipse.